We had four-wheel drive, and so I made it very carefully back home on Thursday evenings.
Yeah. Here comes, looks like you're gonna miss out on on something.
Oh, dude, what happened?
You won't get it till tomorrow.
Okay, I just got kicked out. I don't know what happened. Okay, let me try it again. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what happened, but my picture went out. So can you still hear me? Okay, good job. I can't hear you guys.
Questions.
Yeah.
There it is.
I know.
There we go. Okay.
Steve, can you hear us?
Yes, we can. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
We called, roll call occurred at 5 o'clock. We call to order occurred at 5 o'clock. Let's do a roll call.
Emily Hunt Daly,
Here,
Robert Hayes,
Here.
Richard Jones, John Ortiz, Dr. Guy Shambo.
Here. No quorum. Mr. Pettis, let's go on to 2, discussion.
Okay, so, Mr. President, members of the board, this
Before I start, this is a special board meeting called for a specific purpose. Mr. Pettis.
so Mr. President, board members, this special meeting was called as per statute to do the process for our ed tech notes, which is the amount of $1 million, I believe. I'm not gonna try to explain it. I think Mr. Melendez would do a better job at giving the overview here. Mr. President, if you're okay with that, I'd like for him to.
Please proceed.
Also, Regina Garcina is here, who is your financial advisor. She may want to start very briefly and then I'll go real quick.
Thank
Fine.
you, Mr. President, members of the board, superintendent. Good evening, everyone. So before Art will go over the documents, I will share my screen and go over the results of the pricing as we have finished finalizing the interest rates and the structure for this $1 million issuance of the district's education technology notes.
Thank you.
So you can see this here. So as I have mentioned, the issuance will be $1 million. We have locked in the rates last week. The closing of the education technology notes is expected on March 17th. So at that point, the funds will be available to the district on a requisition basis. The final maturity of the ETNs is 2025. And the true interest cost to the district on this borrowing is 1.41%. The 10-year treasury right now is 3.6%. So you're obviously way below a 10-year treasury government bond. The total interest that you will pay on these education technology notes of their life is almost $14,000. And here you will see the structure of the debt service on the education technology notes. Given the fact that we have a good, healthy surplus in the debt service account, we will be paying off 70% of this loan come October 1st of this year. Thereafter, we'll have only 2 remaining maturities, and MFA has qualified the district to have $150,000 of this loan at 0%. So for your 2025 maturity, will bear a cost of 0%. With that, I would be happy to stand for any questions, but given the fact that we do have a rapid prepayment of your education technology notes here, we should be expecting to be able to issue another EdTech note probably in a year or two to fund much needed technology needs.
Pettis?
And would be happy to answer questions on this financing.
Questions? Board members? Anything needs to be clarified?
Congratulations, we're very happy with the results and the interest rate that you have received and the fact that we are able to pay off this loan this quickly. And want to turn it over now to Art to cover the documents.
Thank you.
Mr. President, members of the board, superintendent, thank you, Regina, also for your explanation. The documents you have before you are an award resolution and a document which is denominated as a lease and note. This is in accordance with New Mexico law, and I'll be very brief, but about 10, 12 years ago, the legislature asked the citizens of New Mexico if they would pass a constitutional amendment to our constitution to allow school districts to do this kind of financing, allow them to make a short-term loan and gain a very nice low interest rate. And so the voters approved that. And when the legislature implemented the new constitutional amendment, they used some interesting nomenclature, calling it a lease purchase financing and note. So in short, what is happening here is you are borrowing $1 million. You're going to pay it off with interest over 3 years. And the documents that we are presenting to you follow the format required by the new constitutional amendment and statute. They are a little bit lengthy, but I want to assure you they are in accordance with New Mexico law and have been already reviewed by the New Mexico Finance Authority as well as RBC. And with that, I know this is a special meeting, and it's simply because the statute requires a special meeting of this nature to approve this financing. The background is the legislature, I guess, thought if this item was on a regular agenda, might get lost at the bottom of the agenda, and citizens wouldn't have a chance to show up and speak and hear. So here we are, special meeting, and with that, I will stand for any questions that you have.
Board members, any questions? Mr. Pettis, any thoughts, Mr. Hayes or Mr.
I
Jones?
may have some questions, but not necessarily for them. I guess my question, my overarching question would be, why did we choose this avenue?
Yes, and thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Maldonado, you may want to help me with this. But EdTech Notes is something that a lot of districts do regularly. It's just a supplement to all of the other things that we do. So it's a great opportunity to beef up or help with our technology needs, across the district. So it's nothing unusual. Like, we've been doing this for several years. We did an EdTech Notes here just a few years ago. And I think we chose not to do it, Mr. Maldonado, the last round,
Correct.
just because we, that felt like we're in a, that wasn't the best time. Now we're in a place where we think we can take advantage of this. So it is something that financially, this is the right time to go forth with it. Mr. Maldonado, don't know if you want to add to that.
Yes, I would, Mr. President, board members, Mr. Superintendent. The other advantage here is that the NMFA offers a very favorable interest rate to us, allows us to borrow money very inexpensively for the district. So it's a very good use of our finances. And Since we are in a position now where we have a little bit extra cash where we can pay it off sooner, it puts us it allows us to buy the materials and the items that we need in order to move forward, but also puts us in a position in a couple of years or whenever we want to move forward, we have the borrowing capacity to borrow even more if we need that. And I think that's really what's important is we're doing it for today and the next year or two, but we're also doing that so that we can better position ourselves in a borrowing strength moving forward in about 3 or 4 years.
So, Mr. President, to whoever can answer this question, do we have one of these outstanding already on the books, or we paid that previous one off?
The previous one has been paid off and
Okay.
done with, right?
Mr. President, members
Yes.
of the board, that's correct. The last education technology has been paid off. The issuance of this ETN does not affect your borrowing capacity when it comes to your GO bonds. It maintains overall stable tax rate, so there are really no changes on that end as well. So again, we're using that extra cash that has already been accumulated. It's sitting in the debt service account that can't be used for anything but education technology note debt service, issuing notes to support your education technology needs. And given the fact that your valuation has been growing and we have been collecting at a very rapid pace that like Mr. Maldonado have mentioned, would position us for another issuance in a couple of years.
Okay, and Mr. President,
Yes, please.
The majority of these dollars are going toward exactly education technology. Well, what does that mean?
Mr. Maldonado?
Yes, I can answer that
summarize the nature of the proposed expenditures for these?
Correct. There are 3 major